Oh, hello. Welcome to the body of the Holy Battenberg Kirk. And why do we call it the Holy Battenberg Kirk? Simply because I'll tell you later. Oh, hang on. So I'm a bit frazzled at the moment, trying to get everything together. Trying to get my notes in some semblance of order. We've got things that make you go, tonight. Quite a few of them. We're going to do a... oh, that's the adrenaline kicking in. We're going to do various things. Let me just... yeah. There's going to be a mixture because obviously we're a couple of days away from Christmas. I am very mindful, having spent a few Christmases on my own, that there will be people, the parishioners of this particular kirk, who may be spending it on their own. So I don't want to kind of go, ooh, let's go Christmas mad, let's go Christmas-tastic, because I don't know. I just want to be proportionate and appropriate. We'll get to your comments in a moment. Let me just pull it forward ever so slightly. Let me just center myself, get myself in the right place, so I can inform you and entertain you this evening without too much coughing, which appears to be working. And I've got some deeper stuff. We're going to talk about the German market tragedy, obviously, and the legacy media lying. We're going to talk about the big story of 2024 that nobody's talking about. I will say thank you to Lord Tocker of the 69, who has given some notes. What's this? Let me just... hang on a second. How many? Bloody hell. Also, we're going to have a bit of fun. I have got the motherload of Christmas cracker gags. So we'll be doing those all the way through the live this evening. Sorry if I'm not quite with it tonight. Obviously, 2 days to go, lots to do, and lots of running around. So I'm trying to get myself into some kind... Honestly, I should start again. But I am going to show you that. Oh, come all ye faithful, which I think is quite appropriate as a hymn for the Kirk this evening. And now we're not allowed to say Christmas. We're not allowed to sing carols. We're not allowed to do anything Christian in this bloody country. Europeans can go and foxtrot Oscar. We'll kind of talk about it through the whole of the live tonight. But I had, Sunday? So yesterday, went out to do a little bit of Christmas shopping, and there was a brass band playing in kind of like the vestibule, the foyer of one of the supermarkets. And it was wonderful. They were playing Christmas carols. It was wonderful. It was a real joyous feeling of Christmas. But the wokerati are like, oh, no. Carols need to be censored so they don't upset other faiths. Well, garf. Honestly, just garf. Leave us to our joy, leave us to our warmth, and leave us to enjoy our Christmas. Because when it's Diwali or some other community's big day, big week, big month, we're so accepting in this country. We allow them the freedom to go and celebrate however they see fit. And it comes up to the Christian holiday of, well, Christmas time. We won't count New Year's Eve because the Chinese might kick off. So I just wish they would leave us alone. I wish they would all foxtrot Oscar. This is a Christian country. Christian. No other denomination. It's Christian. Caring, understanding 90s types. That headline today really wound me up. And I was getting myself into such a lovely place. Not aggressive at all. Really looking forward to wrapping me presents, getting me my extremely large baubles out because they are a thing of beauty. So I decided to give them a bit of a wipe because they needed it, and I just wanted to get me baubles out. And then I thought, I think they do it on purpose. I think they do it to wind us up, saying, oh no, you can't say Christmas, one has to say holidays. I'm not saying holidays in a month of Sundays. I am calling it Christmas because this is a Christian country and we have fought for thousands of years. But if any of the other communities don't like us calling it Christmas, you can strut Oscar. Bye. Don't close the door on your way out. Wipe your feet on the way out, but don't close the door. Bye. Bye. So, start as we mean to go on, Reverend. I've had a telling off from the bishop, which I will tell you about in a moment, because he wasn't happy. Was not happy. But so Lord Tocker of the 69. Before we I get into your where's that? Oh bugger! I knew there was one I needed to print off, and I haven't, and I must apologise to Andrew James. I am hoping that. No, I might. I'll try and read it off the screen if I can. But Lord Tocker of the 69 said, "Dear Reverend Allen, I don't know about you, but I'm getting a bit sick of hearing about Beauvais and cattle farts." Me too, Lord Tocker of 69. So here are some interesting figures around cattle. So we'll be getting into that. Cow farts, because I think it's appropriate. It's a little festive. Not quite sure what else they have made out of their derriere, but yes, we will get it. And also, are you aware that in a week's time, for December 31st, there may be, they're calling it Snow Bomb. Snow Bomb? What's one of them? Is that the same thing that Israel kind of fires into Lebanon? Snow Bomb! And they're saying it's going to get down to minus 10 Celsius. Wonderful. Wonderful. It's about time we killed all the critters off. It's about time that all the little buggy things and things that eat things are going to be killed off on my allotment. Because we don't want them to win, not by a long stretch. So the minus 10 Celsius snow bomb from Plymouth, Devon and Cornwall up to the furthest tip of Scotland. Northern Scotland, that'll be. So the Scots will just think it's another summer's day. But people in Devon and Cornwall, oh, I say, it's rather cold. What-o? Karina Jane, what are you saying, Karina? In the new year, can you do a 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s quiz night? Yeah? Yeah? Des Ashton, time to put your big coat on then. Oh, I'm looking forward to it, Des. I'll wear 2 T-shirts. Because that is the way in the northeast of England. We don't have big coats. We can't afford them. We just put 2 T-shirts on. So let's say hello to everyone in the body of the Kirk. Now that I've got things off my chest. Roy Gordon, good evening all. Evening, Roy. Welcome to the body of the Kirk as ever. I'm early so I can spread the Battenberg, dust the pews, and drink some wine. You're wrongin'. Proper, utter wrongin'. We can't have anybody squiffy in the pews, man. The bishop will go mad. Before the whole arrive, you've said that, doesn't have a W in it though. I hope you're feeling completely normal today, Adrian. Any news buried today? Not going to allow that, not in a month of Sundays. Are you like me, just as a little aside? They're trying to tell us, it's like every day, oh, this TV star has died, and this TV star has died, and this TV star has died. And you think, well, all right, it'll be cancer again then. It'll be the jibber jabber again then. Bizarrely, I am looking at me, what you can see, and it doesn't look great. It looks all pixelated, which is very odd. Yeah. Don't know why it's pixelated anyway. Hopefully it'll record properly. And they're not actually TV stars at all. Leah says, Adrian, I have to ask, are you going to broadcast this Wednesday, Christmas Day? No. is the straight answer. Simply because Christmas Eve we have family coming to visit, and I can't turn around to the family and say, Soul Rebel, yeah, let's just see if it settles down, because I think it might be the Wi-Fi connection. I haven't got Bluetooth on. I'm absolutely positive I haven't got it, but the camera doesn't seem sharp tonight for some unknown reason. Let's see if it settles down. So have family coming over on Tuesday, and then Wednesday we're going to friends in the afternoon. So who said that? Soul Rebel. Thank you, Soul Rebel. Yeah, very bizarre. So sadly, Leah, but I am trying to negotiate something for Boxing Day. It could be YouTube, you know, because some weird things have been happening this week. Orkida says, how are we this evening? I think we're all fine and dandy, apart from people trying to really brass us off for Christmas, which is wholly unfair, wholly. So tonight I'm going to regale you with the odd Christmas cracker joke. I have got some crackers, and the pun was intended, a bit like, why did no one bid for Rudolph and Blitzen on eBay? Because they were too dear. I can hear your groans from here. Did you hear about the man who stole an advent calendar? He got 25 days. Hang on. Lionel says he's arrived. Are you coming, Lionel? Clear now. Thank you. Just, I have no idea what's going on. I mean, I am connected to the Wi-Fi and everything should be fine. The Christmas jumper that I was gifted last year kept picking up static electricity. So I took it back and exchanged it for another one, free of charge. Kind of get the gist of tonight. The jokes are going to be awful, but the reportage and news media was the German tragedy your Black Swan event. No. Gone again. Do you know, I would suggest that it's YouTube. That is a awful connection. How does good King Wenceslas last looked out? How does good King Wenceslas like his pizza? Deep and crisp and even. Lovely. Static electricity sounds shocking. Who said that? You're wrong. And was that Soul Rebel? So welcome, Roy Gordon. Welcome into the body of the Kirk. Stuart says, evening, Rev. Here's your... Oh, Stuart, you utter wrong. And you are incorrigible, and you are leading me astray, young Stuart. Des Ashton saying, fluctuating piss poor bandwidth. I know, and it shouldn't be, because it's the usual setup, unless it is YouTube. Let's see if it settles down over the next minute or so. I'm not quite sure what we do if it doesn't, but it is connected. It has got a very strong signal, according to my computer. My phone's fine, and... Pass, really. Paulie Galtieri, good evening, Adrian. Yeah, utter wrong. And Paulie, welcome to the body of the Cook, as ever. We do have special mince pies in the foyer, if anybody doesn't, is a bit full of Battenberg. But Alta wine is free, a few mince pies. The choir boys are still after Mars bars. Not quite sure what they get Mars bars for. But yeah, possibly. Sandra Wytham says, Adrian, happy Christmas to all from... people are commenting. I'm not quite sure whether you can hear... people are commenting. I'm not quite sure whether you can hear this, but it's gone completely. I'm watching it, and it's just buffering. Hang on. Right, let's see if it picks that up. It's awful. This is just, if you bear with me, I'm letting it buffer and come back, and yeah, right. I don't know what YouTube's doing, to be fair. I think it's back. So we'll as Winston Churchill once says, we'll KBO. But it's the bandwidth is horrendous. In the words of the great Chinese philosopher. Let's see if this works better, because I've come off Wi-Fi, and we'll see if it sharpens up and whether it's beginning to settle down. So looks like interesting. Who's that? Karina Jane, she says, do you remember dial-up? Actually, dial-up was faster than this. It was 28k. I mean, when we got 28k with a modem that sang its way through, actually it is settling down. So, and we'll go for this. It appears to be bandwidth, whether that's YouTube or whether it's the connection or whether it's somebody watching in movies downstairs. I've no idea. But it appears to have settled down. It's still better than 405 TV ever was. I'm going to have to get myself into a happy place now. Yes, we'll do this. We'll use my phone's bandwidth, so to speak. So where were we? Yes, I was talking to you, the parishioner of the Holy Battenberg Church. It's ruddy free serve, I say. Well, whatever it is, it's not going to affect us much more now. It's all settled down because I've come off the Wi-Fi. Des Ashton says, good evening to the faithful Battenbergers. A nice long slice with a port and brandy keeping warm. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Sadly, I'm having to do with a Stuart special. Hibiscus with a shot of welcome into the body of the Kirk. Des, Soul Rebel, good evening, Adrian and fellow wrong'uns, and Merry Christmas, ya filthy animals. Soul Rebel, welcome. Martin the Paranoid Android, Toddy. Well, obviously, Marvin the Paranoid Android, who that is, can't speak English. Must be French, then. Gary Shabot, hi, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Gary, and the same to you and yours. Fred Flintstone's axe was sharper than this. Tell me about it, Des. And yes, I was saying to Sandra, I've got a feeling that it's going to be Sheffield United and Leeds, automatic promotion. I think it's going to be a fight between Burnley, Sunderland, possibly the Borough, and possibly Blackburn. Well, there's 7 sides in for the top 6 places, so it's going to be a very interesting. It's going to be a very interesting season, but I do think that Sheffield United and Leeds are far too strong for anybody else in the Championship. So it must be lovely to be top of the table, Sandra. Des Ashton, I do hope we all had a memorable winter solstice yesterday. Nice to feel the days are now getting longer. Yeah, it's always a good thing at our age, Des, to have things getting longer. By 2 minutes a day, seemingly. When it gets to my birthday at the end of January, my mum used to always say that the days used to start be like proper days, where the daylight would last till beyond 5 o'clock. So it always felt like a proper day. But the winter solstice was it was uneventful at Stonehenge, I think. But that winter sun has been very low in the sky the past few days, and very bright. So I'm sure it might have caused a few car crashes. Hopefully not. But hang on. In the field. Seasonal greetings, Adrian and chatters. I left a slab. Oh, you beauty. I left a slab of Battenberg out for the Santa and the reindeer, but it appears to have been snaffled. Who's the sinner? We've got plenty in the church. We've got plenty in the body of the Kirk this evening. Young in the field. Andrew James, the CCR band we spoke about last week are playing at the Picture Dome next year. Oh, I say. Right, we'll leave in the field and young Andrew James to chat. Karen's in the body of the Kirk, but is keeping herself to herself. Leah, season's greetings, Adrian and all. Thank you, Leah. We are we have had technical problems at the beginning tonight. Ordinarily, I would have just gone, forget it. we'll just all have a night off. But it's just before Christmas, so I'm going to persevere. Max Star, just bring back summer. Yeah, I'm from the north though. I like living in. I mean, I lived in Scotland for 11 years and loved the weather. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Bloody freezing. Who said that? We are going to talk about the Prince of Darkness. Although I think it's highly unfair that Peter Mandelson has nicked that epithet from Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne's always the Prince of Darkness. Always has been. But Peter Mandelson. Hello, Nigel, mate. Randy Mandy with the boys. Hello, Nigel, mate. Yeah, I'm going to be ambassador to America. You know your mate Donald, the Don. Can you introduce me? Fuck off, Peter. Phone goes down. I mean, can you imagine it? I'm going to talk about this later, but there's two-tier, free gear, queer as folk Starmer, queer as folk. He's now complaining. He's complaining because, well, he's a bit drained. Was that Lord Ali draining the Python? And I don't know what you're talking about. And he wants to go on holiday. He's only putting in 6 days a week, if that. He finishes Friday night, has Shabbat off. That's Saturday to everybody else. Starmer reminds me of Herr Flick. I think he does that. Hampstead Heath. And you want the top job. You want the top job. You want the top job. Above all, everything else. You want the power. The power. As Jeremy Clarkson once said, more power. And he gets it and he goes, oh no, the crown's wearing heavy. Oh, say that to the elderly that you're going to kill off this winter. The Yule Bovrils in the body of the Kirk. I must apologise to Andrew James. I'm going to have to... I knew that I hadn't printed something out. So the next live is going to be... I'll see what I can do during the week, but Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, I absolutely cannot, because I've got family stuff, and as much as I love doing these lives and I love making the videos, I can't do anything because I am otherwise engaged. But we'll have a look at Boxing Day, and it is dependent on family commitments. My public and private avocations, as someone once said, but definitely next Sunday. Definitely. And I think on Wednesday is the Wednesday the 1st or the 31st. Hang on a second. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31st. It's on the 1st. So I think we'll do a live on the 1st. You might be hungover. Yeah, wrong. But we'll definitely do a live. Well, no, I won't say definitely unless some family commitment comes in. But Christmas is for families. New Year is to get absolutely shitted. Said a spokesperson. So now that we're in, we're kind of, everyone's got their feet under the table, and everyone's in. Do you want some more hilarity? I know you do. I know. Terry Wookford says, ever think Starmer needing a holiday is a leader for him to resign middle of next year due to the pressures of the job? Could be. Mind you, do you know the story that they're not publishing? The story that they are not publishing, Sue Gray is going into the House of Lords. Baroness Gray. Oi, what you being bought off with? Now, I wouldn't say it's corrupt, because anybody can go into the House of Lords, but getting rid of her, sorry, I've had complaints that me fizzog is too close to the phone. So I'm scaring the kids. I mean, you could put this, whether you've got a big TV above the mantelpiece, or just put your phone on the mantelpiece. It'll keep the kids and the dogs away from the fire, to be fair. But Sue Gray, Baroness Sue Gray, she's going into the House of Lords. For what? Keeping shit out of the press. That's what. Sorry. Honestly, the swear box. I'm going to be... So I will try and moderate my language. I am the irreverent reverend, but it is so difficult sometimes when you can see. I mean, she was kicked out of 10 Downing Street because there was stuff happening that they didn't want happening, and we were getting insights into things that they didn't want us to give insights into. Hang on, what's that? Getting info on a major crisis at the BBC. Any info aid from Ray Norton? No. Well, I have, but I'm not quite sure it's the same as yours. There's always crises at the BBC. Always. But I'll tell you this. Hugh Edwards wasn't the big name. Do you think Hugh Edwards was the last? Wasn't even the first. Hang on, Coffee Hopper. They are all turning on Starmer now. Well, look. I know what you like. You're always dead keen to get stuck into the big stuff at the beginning of the live. And there's me trying to give you some cracker jokes. So I will tell you this. Before the Labour Party were elected, it was very easy to see, because I've had a few goes around the sun. So I was around when, in fact, I was in the media. I was in London when Blair was elected and put into number 10. And watched all of this stuff, and I'm old enough to go back to Wilson in the 70s and old enough to remember. Just don't go on a boat with him in the channel. Seemingly, people wound up dead. Shag 'em, throw 'em over the side. Never heard of again. Seemingly, whether that's true or not, I cannot confirm the rumour. But firstly, if there's a crisis at the BBC, it's well deserved. The Bolshevik Broadcasting Company, and what did Kathy say? So yes, before we got into the Labour Party being elected in July, like Mountbatten, he wasn't chucked over the side. He just went kaboom, and it was the IRA. I'm going to mention the IRA later. And the cough settled down. Thank you very much. So before they were elected in July, I had spent Cyril Smith. So we're buffering again. So the stream buffered again. So it's not my phone, it's not the Wi-Fi here, it is YouTube. So maybe they are having technical problems. Only with my channel, I wonder why. Because I'm obviously saying things that, well, you know what I mean, without tempting fate. So I'd said to you for nearly 18 months, is he scaring you yet? Because I knew what was coming. I knew what was coming, because it's the same as Blair. It's the same as Wilson. And I've told you before, the Labour Party is all about the money. It's not about the sex. That's the Tories. It's all about the money. It's all about the Benjamins. So they want the freebies. They want the power. They want the freebies. I know, Stuart. Not a first. It's 5 times 5 here. Nice, Max Star. Interesting concept. And I said to you, is he scaring you yet? And everybody laughed. They laughed. And what I do with these lives, that's why we're kind of chopping them up and putting little, not aid memoirs, but clips of the lives on the channel, which are very popular, simply because you miss some of the stuff. Now, I know that you might be at home, you might be wrapping presents for Christmas, or you might just be making dinner, or you might be doing stuff in the background. And some people listen to this while they're walking the dog. All 2 hours, they'll listen while they're walking the dog, because you don't have to look at this ugly fizzog, do you? No, just listen to me voice. Face for radio. So Cuban Pete says, they're not laughing now. I know. So I told you for 18 months, everybody laughed. Everybody thought, he's just being Adrian. He's being quirky. He's being different. No, I knew the Brown stuff was going to hit the fan. I just didn't realise it was going to hit the fan so quickly. I mean, like days. And I said to you that the Labour Party were using Sir Keir Starmer as the battering ram, as the Trojan horse, as the way to get into power, because that's what it was all about. They just wanted to get into power. I'd been told that Ginger Growler was the one that was going to take up the cudgel after he disappeared, saying, "Oh, I've got to go, I've got to go." But these people have been after this kind of power for decades. You can't get it being a barrister. You can't get it being a councillor in Manchester. This is top of the tree, mixing with the top of the tree around the world, making decisions that sometimes might kill people. If you send us to war, then you're going to send our youth to war. Wait till Gen Z finds out. And then, because this kind of power intoxicates, it's absolute power corrupts absolutely. Sorry, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. They're intoxicated by it. They love it. Free clothes, free glasses, free everything. And then you get fated, you go around in helicopters and planes. He's never been at home. Wonder why. He's never been at home for donkeys. And I wonder who he's going to spend Christmas with. Now, I'm not sticking my head above the parapet, I'm telling you. It could be a myriad of places. February 14th, bless him. That's not going to come out. Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about. I do. Honestly, I swear, having this tea bag in my cup, it's like having a tampon. Can you imagine? Tampon hibiscus and Jaeger bomb. So once they're in power, Starmer was going to go one of two ways. See what I did there? And it was either going to be, I'm in charge, you can all Foxtrot Oscar. Or it was going to be, oh, I can't handle this. Whoa, I'm just swimming with sharks every day. Right, yeah, bunch of bastards. And John Major used that phrase and term about his own party, remember? And John Major's up at the top of the food chain now. Oh, hello, chaps. Hello. Down there. How are you? Yes. Oni soir qui mali ponce, ye tarts. So it looks like that one of two things is going to happen. He's either going to go, kaboom, there's a nuclear bomb. Right, we're going to have a snap election. And everybody, all the Labour Party will go, whoa, what you doing, man? We've only just got into power. Yeah, well, you're knifing me in the back. Look at all the stuff that came out while Sue Gray was me head of communications. She's not now. She's going into the Lords. I've said to you before, what's she going into the Lords for? So, sorry, there was something on the end of my fingers there. I was just trying to get it off. So he got in, Labour got in, Labour are fighting him tooth and nail to get him gone. Now, who do you think is going to take over? Maybe we should do a sweepstakes. But Ginger Growler's up for it. Robert Reeves is up for it. Who else? Oh, yeah, David Lammy. No, he won't. No. Think it's too short planks, that boy. But there is somebody sitting in the wings. So Wes Streeting is saying, right, the NHS, we love the NHS, we're going to give it bloody loads of money, loads of one guy. Yes, we're going to, I'm a nice guy, me. So he's setting himself up. As Rich quite presciently says, it's who the unions want. Bring back the beast of Bolsover, that's all I can say. So everybody knew what the deal was. They were all into power. They were going to get into power, and that was it. Is Abbott doing the stats? Andy Burnham. No, Andy Burnham won't. No, there's stuff to come out about Andy Burnham. That's Cypher Globalist. Stuff to come out about Andy Burnham. He's never going to be Prime Minister. He's never going to get back in. Never. Mind you, you've got the idiot, the clown. What's his face? Middleburst. You've got you've got David Milburn, who works for charity in New York. He's not going to come back, is he? No. Milburn telling us it's all net zero. Well, that's going to go right down the Swanee because it's going to cost us so much it might bankrupt the country. Because, look, I'll just give this to you straight. You can see through these people because even though they're clowns and they are the entertainment arm of the military-industrial complex, they are working to a script. They're working to Klaus Schwab's script, bless him. And do you know, I was doing some research for Klaus Schwab. And do you know who his mentor was? The most evil man on the planet Earth in the 70s. He's dead now, so I can say anything about him. Terry, I was being facetious. So the mentor for Klaus Schwab, Klaus Schwab's got a fair few degrees. He's a pretty intelligent boy, and he wants to rule the world. Well, he's too old now. He's gonna cark it soon. But his mentor was the most evil man on planet Earth, Henry Kissinger. Oh, I mean, I thought about doing some research, and I thought about kind of presenting it on here, but some of it is, I mean, he's rotting in hell. That's where he's gone, and he's never going to get out of there. He'll be crying into his. So Schwab definitely wants to depopulate the planet because that's his thing, his shtick from Kissinger, because Kissinger was the same. It's just, but they know, the elites know that A, they're not going to get the kids to rape and murder because we've sussed them now. They will get some, but 350,000 children going missing in America alone every year. Where are they going? I've just told you. And the Donald is getting in on the 20th of January, and literally, I bought me popcorn ready. I've got buckets and buckets and buckets of popcorn because I just want to watch. I'm telling you now, and this is my own personal take, and it's an insight into how politics works, because Donald Trump is not a politician. I couldn't even get it out. I was so excited, so to speak. And he's going to start day one. And look, at this level of power, Donald Trump, adrenochrome farming. Yeah, well, what's her face? Who's in the Cotswolds, can't go any further than that. She's not getting any. Have you seen the black panda eyes she's got? Who am I talking about? Do your research. Cotswolds, American superstars, multi-millionaires, American superstars. They're all coming over here because they are shitting themselves. And that's a technical term that we use in media. They are shizing themselves because they know once the Donald is in, it's all going to kick off. All of these lawfare things that they try to get him on, all of the liars, all of the subterfuge, everything. He's the most powerful man in their country, and he's degenerate, exactly so, rebel. And he is going to make sure that they suffer. All of them. And he's not going to do it because he wants to finish his term. He wants to put America back on the right path. And he wants to make sure that history views him in a particular way. So he's told them, I'm going to scrap all the income tax. And everybody in America's going, and it's like that scene from The Matrix where red pill, blue pill. Take the blue pill, you go back to where you're from, you forget everything. Red pill, we go down into the rabbit warren. And Trump is very mindful of how history will view him in 100 or 200 or 500 or 1,000 years if there's still humans around. And that's what he's playing for. He's playing for his legacy. He's playing for his name to history. That's what this man is all about. He learned it from his first term as American president, and now he's not messing about. It's like a gunslinger. It's like Clint Eastwood walking into town and all the locals going, "Oh, it's a stranger, it's a stranger." And everybody realizes that he's come to have a word with the bad people. And nobody can draw quicker than Clint Eastwood. Fistful of dollars. Or is it a fistful of Bitcoin? So that's what Trump's all about. And that's what's going to happen. So from January 20th, he knows he's got ahoy, maggots. Oh, retro. Good to see you in the body of the Kirk, young sir. Trump knows he's going to hit the ground running. He knows now. Be aware that Biden, they may get rid of Biden. They might just go, he's had a heart attack, or he's seriously ill. Terry Woodford, that is very funny. Rolf Harris can draw quicker than Clint. So the Democrats may actually, because, President Brown Trousers is still president, and they may have him on medical grounds step aside so that Camel Toe, becomes instantly president. And what will they do? They will get Camel Toe to pardon President Brown Trousers. The thing is that they're not going to do that. Or are they? They've got less than 30 days. Now, Biden, President Brown Trousers, is Joey Poopy Plops. Biden is so gone, he wouldn't even know. They can't kill him off. But they may say it's a medical emergency. He's been taken away, and we're just going to have Kamala step up. She pardons him, so nobody can touch him. The Donald can't touch him because he's been one of the most, in my view, corrupt presidents of the United States there's ever been. And there's been a few. There's Tricky Dicky for one of them. So I think this once we get Christmas and New Year out of the way, observing what's going on is going to be a full-time job, and it's going to be wild. I mean, proper wild, because the president-elect, Donald has been briefed about absolutely everything. He's had negotiations with Justin Trudeau. Hello, Justin. Isn't that what they call a man with a small penis? Justin. And so, oh, right, we'll have Canada as the 51st state of America. And Justin Trudeau's gone, what? Yeah, Justin, we're not very happy with you and Klaus Schwab, your mate. So you can Foxtrot Oscar and resign, because either that or we're coming over the border. And then you've got Australia, and you've got Canada, and you've got New Zealand, and we're all little schwousy babies, minions. Rolf Harris on Stars in Your Eyes wanted to do two little boys. I bet they didn't let him, Ray. So the American presidency is going to be a fascinating watch over the next month. 30 days. Karina Jane, what made your day you're wrong? Ali Turner, has anyone heard the retake of Fairy Tale of New York? It is shit, so woke, it ain't funny. So glad it's the original, the only one I hear on the radio. Well, the difficulty that radio has nowadays is if you play a bad song, people don't listen to two bad songs back to back. They just go. They'll go and come to YouTube or go to Spotify or go anywhere, and they won't listen to bad songs. So at Christmas time, people just want their stuff. Diddle diddle dum diddle diddle dee. Martin, the paranoid android. So a couple more gags, and then I'm going to get into stuff that we need to get into. If you've got any decent cracker jokes, then put them in the comment, and I'll read them out. How did Mary and Joseph know that Jesus was 8 pound 2 ounces when he was born? They had a weigh in the manger. Actually, I might go bang my head against the brick wall for that one. What kind of motorbike does Santa ride? A Holly Davidson? Why did the turkey join the rock band? Because it had drumsticks. Now, there's 5-year-olds laughing at this, and there's adults going, Jesus, Adrian, is this what it's come to? Yeah, it's Christmas. It's Christmas. So, firstly, I want to say thank you to the legendary Battenbergers, to Jackie Glasgow and Maria O'Dell, Stephen Conlon and Dan Brooker and Alan, Rich and Stuart. Thank you for your support for the channel. It's helped with the swear box because the bishop visited today, and he said to me, "Here, I hear that you've had to have a swear box, Reverend Alan." Okay. What does that mean? So have you been using bad words, Reverend Allen? I said, well, no, not really. He said, I've heard that you may have used bad words like bar and humbug this Christmas. Oh, I said, oh, that's fine. I thought you meant when I said, for fuck's sake, the other night in front of the choir boys. So he said, oh, that's fine. That's fine. Pleasure is all mine. Stuart, thank you. So the bishop is kind of hanging around. I think he's got word that the parishioners of this particular Kirk and the irreverent reverend are a bit potty-mouthed. So we just have to. He said to me, I'm very worried about how many Mars bars you're giving the choir boys, because sugar and diabetes, is there not something that you can give them? I said, well, I can, but I think I might get arrested, Your Eminence. And he said, I'm very disappointed at the lack of morals within the body of the Kirk. And he said he's in full agreement with what the Pope's come out today and said, that gossip and backstabbing is evil. So I said to him, well, I don't talk about the choir boys. Don't even talk about the nuns. You want to see what they get up to in the cucumber patch. They are expert gardeners, though, I have to admit. So there's no backstabbing and no gossip? Correct. So I said, what about front stabbing? And he said, no, Reverend, you have to be holy. I said, well, we are holy. We have the Holy Battenberg. He said, well, just be aware that you are being monitored. And if you are continually using that bloody swear box of yours, then we'll have to have words. So I said, oh, okay. Then I blame the parishioners, Your Eminence. I just try to do my best. And if they're not happy with it, well, they can foxtrot Oscar. Oh, he says, Reverend, what are you saying? I said, well, you know what foxtrot Oscar means, don't you? Right, we've done all that. I'm going to have to be very aware that there's a huge amount of paper in front of me with notes on. So I am going to... we'll start with Lord Tocker of the 69. Apparently, Tony Woodford, apparently shit stabbing is okay, especially if you're a member of Parliament. I mean, they have that WhatsApp group over at Portcullis House. They're all at it. Maybe they've got a bit of Diddy Baby oil with them. So Lord Tocker the 69 says, Dear Reverend Allen, here's some interesting figures around cattle for you. Not me and you. I know we travel cattle class, but not me and you. We're talking about proper bovine, proper cows. Not nasty cows, just proper cows. And according to Lord Tocker of the 69, who obviously being full of ermine and mink and rubbing shoulders with all the hoi polloi, is good for a bit of... data. And Lord Tocker of the 69 says, in the UK, according to gov.uk, the total head of cattle in the UK is around 9 million, of which only about 1.9 million are dairy cows, or about 22.2%. The rest are beef cattle. Now, bovine can only be used to stop less than a quarter of farts. That's what they said. Was it about 27%? So 3/4 of those noxious emissions are finding their way into the air, said Bill Gates. So let's put this into some real context. UK cow population, approximately 2 million farting cows. India cow population, 192 million farting cows. Now, worldwide cow population, 1.47 billion farting cows. India has 13.06% of the world's cow population. The UK has 0.136% of the world's total cow population, and only 1.04% of India's cow population. So we are mere minnows. Hang on, Retro's saying that cows don't fart. Rich says cows are sacred in India. That's why you've got some bloody 192 million of them. And they say UK cow farts contribute to climate change. My hairy arse, says Lord Tockler of the 69. And we in the Kirk know climate change is all bollocks, says Lord Tockler of the 69. Yours mathematically, Lord Tockler of the 69. So, have you noticed how the media don't ask the appropriate questions of the ministers or the politicians that are talking out of their hairy backside, including the cows? Notice how other people and the world population is absolutely massive compared to like 1% of the world's farting cow population. 37 jet trips by Starmer did not contribute to any of it. No, of course not. Of course not. He's barely been at home. When did she kick him out? Is it Lord Ali's plane, helicopter, or chopper that he's using? That's what they call helicopters, isn't it? The media these days just copy and paste press releases. I know, Rich. Bunch of bar stewards. In the field says, do sheep fart? Do chickens fart? Do pigs fart? Do men fart? Obviously, ladies never do. Or they do. So let's have a look at something that I picked up on today. Horses fart a lot and they shit everywhere, Kathy. Do you want to know how corrupt the Palace of Westminster is? I roared with laughter. Now, corruption at Christmas. You can't say that about the big fat dude in the red suit because he's not corruptible. He's loving. He's got all the elves. He's got all the elves on shelves, stacking them. And he cannot be questioned. But MPs, on the other hand. So Keir Starmer's corruption minister, Tulip Siddiq, is being investigated for corruption. It's claimed she took £4 billion in bribes for a Putin-funded nuclear power plant. So let me just run this by you again. So the corruption minister, she's named as Tulip Siddiq, she's being investigated for corruption. How? I mean, can they not find anybody in the Palace of Westminster? Can they not find anybody in the Houses of Parliament that's not corrupt? Just to head up the corruption department. Can you believe it? The corruption minister could end up going to Chokey, £4 billion in bribes for a Putin-funded nuclear power station. To say this is breathtaking is a bit of an understatement. And it's not being reported anywhere. Anywhere. Wonder why that is. The Christmas number one. Let's again talk about corruption. You know the Sir Starmer and the Granny Harmers freezing this Christmas. I mean, they are quaking in the corridors of power because it obviously appears that they just don't want to embarrass queer as folk Starmer. I've no idea why. I mean, he's good enough at doing that himself. He's just a simple embarrassment. Lies, depending on which day of the week has a Y in it. And he just, I'll promise the waspy women. Yeah, the waspy women. Yeah, when we get into power. Yeah, no, I never promised that. Oh, when we get into power, yes. We'll make sure that the elderly get their heating looked after. No. He literally is Prime Minister Philippe Philop. And as Cuban Pete says, do you know his dad was a toolmaker? We see evidence of that every single day on TV. But Christmas number one. So Sir Starmer and the Granny Harmers, they're saying, no. This is to protect the BBC. No. Number one is Wham! Last Christmas. Oh, how very convenient. 40 years down the line, it goes to number one for the second year running. But no, Sir Starmer and the Granny Harmers freezing this Christmas. No, not number one. No. It is on the iTunes chart, but not on the official BBC chart. And they're trying to say that that is kind of the official Christmas number one. Can you see how these devious, devilish, scum-sucking pond life work and operate? So they have to have deniability. I've told you many times over the last couple of years. It's all about deniability. So Sir Keir Starmer can go, oh, yes, George Michael, lovely bloke, always off his tits when he was driving his car, but lovely bloke. Did he crash his car into snappy snaps? Now, I know George had his troubles, and the vocal on Last Christmas is spine-chilling. But isn't it convenient that that got to number one on the BBC chart? So you have, this is from my days in commercial radio. So there was always two charts. There was the BBC, the official top 40, which was the Music Week chart that was published everywhere. That was kind of seen as the one. And then commercial radio decided to use it as a network, the network chart with David Kidd Jensen. And it was kind of a bit of playlist. So playlist and sales, so they tried to combine the two. So sometimes nobody knew which one was number one, and sometimes there were different number ones, there were different number twos. Oh yeah, Martin, yeah. Someone wrote Wham on the Snappy Snaps shop front. So these corrupt, scum-sucking pond life have, I would suggest, in my view, they have engineered that a different song was going to be number one to save the Prime Minister from embarrassment. If that man is that thin-skinned, and I've told you before, the Labour Party is all about the money, all about the Benjamins, all about how much you can grift. And the Tories, well, they're just shagging each other and shagging anything that moves. They don't care. They've got the money. They just want to have their wicked way with stuff. So sadly, Sir Starmer and the Granny Harmers, Freezing This Christmas, is not the official number one. It's not even the official number two. Don't even think it's in the top five. But it's raised tens of thousands of pounds for the elderly, which is wonderful. But nowadays, you can't go out like, Band-Aid and buy a 7-inch single. It's either 79p on the download chart, and you know that the download chart, you're not actually buying anything. You are just renting that song in your iTunes for your lifetime. And then when it's the end of your lifetime, it doesn't go anywhere, just disappears. So it's 79p to have the use of a piece of music for your lifetime. That's the gig. That's why the kids, the Gen Zs, are going back to vinyl. There's a bit of a inroad into CDs. But even some of the CDs that were manufactured in the sort of 80s and 90s, they're now getting something called CD cancer, where it doesn't play on CD players anymore. And nobody knew. It was just some of the glues or some of the materials that they made CDs with. They're now finding out that actually it wasn't like CD quality. It wasn't studio quality. It was just a bit shite. It was just to get you to buy double the vinyl and the CD. And that's why people are going back to vinyl. But have you seen the cost of a vinyl album nowadays? I was having this conversation with someone the other day. So I would either get it sent from the record company, or I'd go out and buy it for £4.50 or a fiver. And it was like 180 grams, and the vinyl was impeccable, and the sleeves were wonderful, and you would get home, put it on, let it play all the way through, turn it over, play all the way through while reading the notes, reading all the bits and pieces that came on the sleeve. The record companies are now charging 35 to 40 quid for an album, for a vinyl album. So for example, one of my Queen albums, I've got the early Queen stuff on sort of promo albums, and they're 180 grams. They're top of the tree. Secondhand records are great, $4.99 average on eBay. Ooh. Yeah, the brand new ones, though, if you're buying it nowadays, they're like 35, 40 quid. Some of the kids are spending like 70 or 80 quid on a vinyl album just because it has the romance, it has the warmth. But as In the Field says, modern vinyl is featherweight too, thin shite. That's why old vinyl, people are trying to get it in record stores and second hands. eBay records, clean up, great. Oh, I'm sure they do, Alan. So I'm going to ask you a question. We'll kind of morph from. I'm quite disappointed that Sir Starmer and the Granny Harmers, Freezing This Christmas, hasn't made it to like the #1 on every chart. Terry Wookford's still using wax cylinders, bless you. Don't drop them because they shatter. So we'll have a 1 for yes, 2 for no. Is this Christmas going to be a traditional Christmas for you, whatever that may be, whether it's your family or whether it's relatives or friends? Are you going to have a traditional Christmas for you? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Andy Turner can't make his mind up. Will this Christmas be a traditional Christmas for you? While we were talking about Starmer, because remember, you've got to keep your eyes on these snake oil sellers, because all they're doing is they're making sure that they find a good day to bury bad news. So January 20th, although the Donald is being inaugurated, what most people forget is that the inauguration will only last a few minutes, not very long, because bless them, they're old and they're cold. But it's what the newspapers report the following day. Charity shops are the best for old records. From Reg D. So glad to pop your cherry, Reg D. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. But the thing is, let's finish this off about the inauguration and what the snake oil sellers and the press are doing. It's not necessarily what's happening on the day and what the newscasts, whether it be the BBC or GB News or Sky News or anything, will it be that they carry it live worldwide, and then the day after, it's what they carry in the press the day after, not in situ on the day. It's the reportage the following day. So the reason why, in my view, they are putting all of these varying scum-sucking pond life on trial, or starting their trials on January 20th, is because there'll be next to no reporting the day after or the day after that. So for 2 or 3 days after the trials start, they simply will not be reporting much. And if they do, it'll be like a small column inch. Story of my life. Perry comb over. I was going to. I've got 2 big pieces that I want to deliver to you, and I need to make sure that we kind of have gotten through certain things. So I'm going to give you the big story of 2024 that nobody's reporting. Nobody. And do you know what it is? You've been told, it's hidden in plain sight. You've been told time and time and time again. You had Ursula von der Leyen in Davos at the World Economic Forum in January, trying to set things up. And I will also tell you this, because I was in Davos whilst that was ongoing, and I was there for a week afterwards, that there was loads of Chinese there. There was loads of the Chinese Communist Party in Davos, and people in Davos, whilst the World Economic Forum was ongoing, were complaining about the amount of Chinese. Now, you would think, hang on a second, the Chinese Communist Party isn't communism where all men are treated equal. No, I think you'll find it's all men are treated equal, but some men are treated more equal than others. So there was all these Chinese running around in Davos, and the locals were like, there's too many, there's too many, there's too many. The Chinese Communist Party don't care. They run the world now, literally. I mean, they're in the pocket of the Russians, but the Chinese are running the world. So the big story of 2024 that nobody's talking about, it's simply called the Great Reset. Have you forgotten about that? The Great Reset is still the plan. It is still happening. It's just distributed now. It's a compartmentalized strategy uploaded to the cloud. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? It's everywhere and nowhere. It's not like a piece of paper. It's the Great Reset is crypto. It is having the communists installed in Australia and Canada and New Zealand and GB. Because we've got Bolsheviks in power now who literally don't care one jot about you so long as you can make them money. So long as while they're in power, they are making millions and millions and millions on the grift. I'll give you an example. Just last week, the UK's chief medical officer, remember him, Chris Whitty? He published his annual health report. So let's have a think. Remember him? Next slide. Next slide. So Chief Medical Officer Chris Whitty published his annual health report. And now what does he recommend? He recommends sin taxes on unhealthy foods and 15-minute cities. You thought that's gone away. What do you think they're making Lord Carnage for? Labour have already increased sin taxes on sugar, salt, alcohol and tobacco. Next, it'll be red meat, dairy and just carbon in general. But remember, the carbon that they're trying to get rid of is you. So by 2035, it will be impossible to buy a new petrol car in the UK or in the EU or in Canada or in New Zealand or in Australia or in Mexico or South Africa or California and another 11 US states. Now, these are not disparate issues, not desperate, disparate. They are heads on a hydra. They form the universal silent agenda that is everywhere. It's in China, it's in Russia, it's in GB, it's in all of those countries, UK, EU, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, Mexico, South Africa, or California, and another 11 states. It's everywhere. They're just not telling you anything to alert you. They want you dumbed down, eating chocolate and thinking, oh, well, I would have preferred a white Christmas, but at least it was Christmas. The people that are doing this are bipartisan and cross-bench. They are the things unquestioned, sanctioned, and approved by both sides of every fake divide. If you look at Rich Boy Sunak, he was doing exactly the same things about exactly the same subjects as two-tier, free gear, queer as folk Starmer. But they're from the political divide. One's communist, Bolshevik, red, and the other one's moneyed, chasing skirt blue. So what they are doing, and you can quote me on this, in 10, 15, 20 years, they are building a prison around every single person on planet Earth, whilst we argue about Hunter Biden, QAnon, and transgender bathrooms. Oh, take the men out of women's sports, whilst they build a prison around us. So the Great Reset is still the plan. They just haven't told you recently. Just giving you the heads up, mark my words. And the only way to defeat it is to stand up and be counted. Should we talk about asylum in Germany? Firstly, we'll talk about the woke brain rot. I think knowing you the way that I do, and reading your comments and how we talk on these lives, this woke brain rot, we're actually seeing through it now. Can Trump come to the rescue, says Jackie Glasgow. See, one half of me believes that he's the only chance we've got. But he has his own personal agenda. Told you before, he'll want to be revered by the American people. I was in Turkey this summer, and I'm trying to think of the Turkish president that the Turkish people revere. He's dead now, but still to this day they revere him. So I think if he gets rid of the taxes, so people have more money in the pocket and they use varying systems, including changing the dollar, and I still haven't quite worked out why they would want to change a system where they're printing their own dollars for crypto. And I guarantee you, what Donald Trump is doing is all about getting his face on Mount Rushmore and being there for the next 1,000 years. Both Terry Wookfit and Retro on his bikes, I am Spartacus. Wasn't that an Ian Jury song? Spasticus Autisticus. He was decades ahead of his time, Ian Jury. So this woke brain rot, the thing is, for the first time in decades, the sane amongst us have the upper hand because we've woken up. It's not our job to wake everybody else up. It's our job to keep looking at the pointy end, to keep looking at the sharp stuff, to keep looking at what exactly these scum-sucking pond life are up to. Because they are, non-stop. And those that can't wake up, just leave them. Just leave them. We've done our work. We are awake. We can see through all the BS that they put through. Why, can I ask you a question? Why are you trusting legacy, mainstream media? Why are you buying into anything that's in the newspapers? Why are you buying into anything on a TV channel? They're all the same. They're propaganda arms. Orchidia, the Blockheads were class musicians too. Oh, I agree. Ian Jury, one of my heroes. Beautiful. So we're awake. We are seekers. We are seeking the truth. We look everywhere as best we can. We go and watch channels like this who, I don't sugarcoat anything. I don't. And I know that this YouTube channel isn't as successful as others, but do you know what? This YouTube channel, Theatre of the Mind, has integrity. Honesty and integrity. And I said, for the last 2 years, I've had to earn your trust by giving you insight into certain things. And you kind of go, yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get that. Tell me more. So this woke mind brain rot, for want of a better term, it's done. It's done. You can't have Ursula von der Leyen standing up in Davos going, we have to get everyone to trust us. Why have they always got this really sinister German accent? And there was Klaus. You can't find anything, and I have tried. You can't find anything about Klaus Schwab's youth. You can't. And I can't say anything without corroborative proof. I have done my research. I've got some of his books. But you can't find anything about his youth. Wonder how that works. You know how that works. They've sanitized the internet. Yes, Des Ashton says, Viville asks the questions. But it's always that faux, sinister German accent. Because you know what that brings up in this country? I don't have to tell you. Terry Wookfit says, because Ian Fleming and the makers of Bond movies were prophetic. I know. I'm expecting him to bring his pussy out and start stroking it. Ray Norton makes an excellent point. Try and find pictures of Michelle Obama pregnant. You won't. What did they do? Hire the kids by the week or the month? Some of the things to make you go hum, hum, hum are, let me reference the question that I asked you 5 minutes ago. Will this Christmas be a traditional Christmas for you? The reason why I asked that question is simply because that's what we want every year. Now, and I'm saying that because of the amount of votes for yes. Yes, of course. Some people say no because circumstances change, locations change. You can't always have family. I mean, I don't know whether you've had arguments yet about where you're going and who you're going with. James Bond, you were expecting me? No, Mr. Bond, I'm expecting you to die. So Christmas is there's all this stress. I mean, I went out shopping yesterday, and I'm sure you're exactly the same. How the hell I didn't kill anybody else? How I didn't kill another human being? Oh, beautiful retro. We're having a Victorian Christmas. Is that her name, Victoria? I'm joking. Big Mike in a maternity dress. No. It would just hit the front. Ye old schmeckle. But retro, that sounds fabulous. I mean, I would just having. I mean, we were. I know that they go on about the empire. Have you noticed how people go, "Oh, the British Empire. Yeah, it was all slaves. Yeah, it was all slaves. So yeah, reparation. Give us some money. Give us some moolah." But they don't get on to the Victorians, do they? Because we got the money. Treasure Island. Oh, you can shaft the Brits for tons of money, man. Yeah. Who sold the slaves? The Africans? Go to Africa and ask the tribes that were selling other tribes to make money. Oh, they don't tell you that. That's not sticking to their narrative. They don't tell you about the Dutch slave owners who were nicking people off the streets of the UK, white people, and flogging them to the Americans. Oh, no. There's a great book called White Cargo. Maybe I'll do a deep dive one day. But there's a great book called White Cargo. So, you know, all of the people that are talking about reparation, because they want the money. They don't want anything else. They just want the money. Oh, look, the Roman Empire, it just morphed into the Catholic Church. And now you've got the British Empire. Oh, it was evil. No, it was evil. Give me some money. It was evil. Give me some money. And the legacy media just trot out this bullshit. Because nobody wants to do any work. As someone said a little earlier, I think it was Terry Wookfit, all journalists do now is rewrite press releases. So let's talk about yeah, we'll do that in a little while. I want to get to I want to talk about the truth about migrant hotels. So let's go from when people point the finger at, say, us as Great Britain or the United Kingdom or England, they point the finger at us, and these journalists that just rewrite press releases, they don't actually tell you any truth. They don't say to you, nope, hang on, you're talking about reparation. From where? Africa. Man came out of Africa. I think you'll find it wasn't just Africa. Provable also. So let's talk about the truth about migrant hotels, shall we? Because I've got the data in front of me. Now, these migrant hotels host tens of thousands of young men and cost billions. And the reason why I'm bringing this up tonight, just before Christmas, is because A, they don't celebrate Christmas. They will do when they find out you get nice presents and stuff. Everybody loves a freebie, especially a free 5-star hotel, free money every week, free mobile phones. But there is a reason why I am telling you all of this. Because Queer as Folk Starmer is giving us Europe by the back door. Now, I readily admit that doing anything by the back door is not first in the Houses of Parliament. So, Sir Keir Starmer is evidently a backdoor man. So trying to bring the EU via the back door, how's he going to do that? Have you not asked why they want to bring the under-30s and they want an agreement with Europe? Ursula von der Leyen was shaking hands with their Keir Starmer, queer as folk Starmer. Under-30s. EU movement is on the cards. So I'm going to ask you a question. Have you worked out what they're doing yet? So why are they saying, no, Adrian, you can't have free movement around Europe, unless you're going on holiday, and then you can't stay for very long? Do you not think they want all young men? Free movement? So not only are they going to allow more boats, they want just the young, fighting age men. Look at the German Christmas market. And we will get to that in just a little while, because I'm going to give you facts and figures. And thank you to Stuart. Again, Stuart, very kind of you. So why would they want the under-30s to integrate into our society, our villages, our communities? Why would they want to be integrated? Well, let me tell you that the migrant hotels, those properties, are currently housing at least 36,000, which is a jump of 21% since Labour came into power in July, at a cost of several billion pounds a year to the taxpayer. That's me and you. So we're paying it. According to figures released by the government under pressure from MPs last month, and now Stella Creasy is now saying a deal for young people, free movement within Europe, is on the cards. And I'm going to quote her directly. They are pushing against an open door, is how Stella Creasy described it, of having free movement for the under-30s throughout Europe. It is an absolute hot topic. I quote from Stella Creasy. The good news is, and this is a direct quote from Stella Creasy, the good news is it is being discussed. It is very clear that there have been negotiations and movement on there. Shadow Foreign Secretary Priti Patel says, and I quote, Keir Starmer unpicking Brexit at every opportunity he can. But we're awake, as I told you a couple of minutes ago. We're awake. We can see through their BS. According to Shadow Foreign Secretary Priti Patel, Conservatives will not let them drag us back into the EU via the back door. It's an experienced scheme long disbanded by Brussels, allowing under-30s to live, work and study freely within the EU. Now remember, problem, reaction, solution, says David Icke. So they give you, oh, no. We want people to travel within Europe and to be able to study at universities anywhere they choose. And it's good for our universities because they bring money into our universities. See, problem, reaction, solution. So everybody thinks, yeah, actually, that's a great idea. Bring more students in. What they're not calling them, they are young men of fighting age. Just remember, we were told by this lying Prime Minister that he would only allow 100,000 asylum seekers into this country per year. I've already told you, Blair, back in the day, in the late 90s, was counting the male heads in. Oh, there's only 50,000 come in. And then, to make it look like they were dealing with the problem, they would eject some of those men and their wives and their kids to bolster the numbers. So say 100,000 came in, and I know at the time, 97, 98, there was only about 20, 25,000. Just seeing a news flash that Belfast City Airport has had a plane crash. Landing gear didn't work. So that could be a main story for the front pages tomorrow. But Blair gave you only 25,000 asylum seekers have come in this year. That didn't include the wives and the kids, but when they were being sent back, it was there's 100,000 gone out. So you would think automatically, God, blimey, they're doing really well in getting rid of the illegal immigrants. I've told you before, when I was on late nights in South Wales, my boss, head of the radio station, head of the presenters in the radio station, he came to me and he said, "Man, Adrian, will you stop it? Will you stop mentioning illegal asylum seekers?" I said, "Yeah, all right, why?" He said, "Oh, I'm getting heat, man. I'm getting heat." Direct quote. Don't know who he's getting the heat from, but I'm getting heat. You need to stop it, man. Stop it. So I said, all right. So the next day, went on air. So all these economic migrants. Ooh. My office, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I go in. All right, morning. I thought we had an agreement. We had an agreement that you weren't going to talk about the asylum seekers. I said, I didn't. I talked about the economic migrants. Yo. I said, look, it's all in words, it's all in vocabulary, but I didn't talk once about illegal asylum seekers. And I know that at some point in the future, you know this is coming, and I've just picked this up from the chat. You know this is coming. That what they'll do is say, right, we're going to give everybody an ID card. It'll stop all these illegals coming in. Because when they come in, we'll know where they are, we'll know what they are doing, and we'll know where they're working, where they're living, we'll know everything, but everybody has to have an ID card. And if you have nothing to fear, you'll take the ID card. If you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to fear. That is the problem reaction solution. And you know who's behind that, don't you? Yeah, Charles Linton Blair. Tony to his mates. So it's coming. That just, as I said to you a little earlier about the snake oil sellers and the Great Reset, and not telling you anything about the Great Reset, that's what they're up to, man. Don't trust them. Literally do not trust them. They'll still take your taxes. And let me tell you about Starmer, because this boy is a member of quite a few things. Have you heard of the Trilateral Commission? So, Queer as Folk Starmer, his name first appeared on the membership list of the Trilateral Commission in April 2019. Remember, he's been ducking and diving. He was best mates with Jeremy Corbyn at one point, and then ditched Jeremy Corbyn. And he'll say one thing and do another. Oh, yeah, WASPy women. Yeah, we're going to look after them. They campaigned with the WASPy women. Didn't campaign on behalf of, but they campaigned in support of. Now, out of 650 MPs, Starmer was the only one invited to become a member of the Trilateral Commission. And I'm mentioning this, so I know, Vixtex, so that you can do your own research. I can't give you all the answers because YouTube don't like that. And I want to be able to continue giving you the information that you need to be able to look after you, your family, and your community. Now, these people aren't the sort of people Sakia would see as an ideal photo opportunity. They don't like the photographs being taken. And they wouldn't want a picture to be used in his campaigning, highlighting his lefty credentials. I mean, can you imagine? If he thought that being a Tory was going to get him into power, that's what he would do. This boy doesn't care. He's all about the power. He doesn't care about anything else. Doesn't care about you. Doesn't care about other people close to him. How big's his family? And I still maintain that these people, because they don't care about you or anybody else, they care about the money that they're giving to their mates. So there's Nigel Farage, half decent mates with Elon Musk, and Mr. Candy, he's money man, married to Holly Valance. So Holly, what was it that interested you in multi-billionaire Mr. Candy? So, two-tier free gear queer as folk Starmer has Bill Gates and chief executive officer of BlackRock, which oversees $11 trillion worth of assets. And they're in number 10. Having a word with Ginger Growler, Robert Reeves, and Queer Starmer, queer as folk. Thank you, Cypher Globalist. So now they're saying, Nigel Farage, no, you can't accept 100 million. No, you can't. I mean, I don't even know whether 100 million is being offered by Elon Musk. But can you not see that the political classes are quaking in their Louboutins? That's the men. Can you not see that they are scared witless that some upstarters, some whippersnappers, are going to nick all of their political clout? And I've said to you before, any rich and wealthy family, the firstborn son would get the pile, the seat, the country mansion, and all of the wealth that went with it. If there was a second son, the second son went into the clergy, because that's where the power was. The money went to the firstborn, the power went to the secondborn. That's how it works. So if you look at the royal family, Charlie gets all the baubles and the palaces, and Anne was the secondborn. Adam, is that what Tony Blair wears on weekends? Well, have a look at Bow Street Magistrates. You can Google it. He loves a bit of Hampstead Heath going walking late at night, obviously to ease the pressure. Charles Linton used his middle names so it couldn't be traced, except it's everywhere now. It's the internet. So the Labour Party love a bung, evidently, because you get free gear. You get free suits, free glasses, you get free gear, get free clothes for the missus. Keep her quiet when you're round at Lord Alley's doing whatever you're doing. That's wonderful, Rich. Thank you very much. And yes, when I have a little tincture, I shall think about you. But now they're kicking off because Farage and Reform are playing them at their own game, which is donations, free donations. And look, it's all semantics, it's all in vocabulary, it's all in language. So if Elon Musk decides to give somebody 100 million to make sure that 100 million goes to Reform, it's easy circumnavigated around the system. That's what politicians do. They just lie. All of them. They just lie. But it's about lying without getting caught out. Are you sitting comfortably? Because I want you to be fully informed about what has just happened in Germany. Now, please stay with me for 10 to 15 minutes, because this is important. The information that I'm about to give you will give you an insight and context into what is going on in Germany at the moment. But I've said to you already this evening, do not trust the legacy media. They are propagandists. They don't give you news. They don't deliver you news. They don't deliver you things that you really need to know to see all the corruption that goes on in life. No, they just tell you about Greg Wallace and his sausage or his steak bake. And I agree with Vic's text. When I hope I don't get emotional when I'm presenting this to you, primarily because the news was coming out that some tow rag had driven into a Christmas market, and like Edinburgh, I love Edinburgh's German Christmas market every year. Just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. But it's a little 9-year-old. I mean, if that doesn't make you angry, I don't think anything will. 2 days, 3 days before Christmas. A little 9-year-old. And they're trying to portray, this is the legacy media, they're trying to portray this man as anti-Muslim. My hairy backside. He's anything but. Because if he was anti-Muslim or Islamophobic, he'd be attacking mosques. So he goes to a German market instead. Oh, here. Please don't think that I'm stupid. Just Foxtrot Oscar. Do not trust the legacy media. Do not trust what you are being told, because they lie. And I can prove to you all day, every day, in their lying. It's like politicians. How do you know when a politician's lying? Their lips move. So let's give you a few things that make that clearer. They're lying. I will give you evidence for the prosecution, my lord. The latest terror attack, which took place in Magdeburg, the state capital of Saxony-Anhalt in Germany. In the latest atrocity to take place in Europe, a Saudi national, 50-year-old, seemingly a 50-year-old doctor, drove his car into crowds at a Christmas market. He's killed 5 people, one of them 9-year-old. Probably excited about Christmas coming up. Excited to be with her family. Excited to be out at the Christmas market. They're saying there could be upwards of 200 people injured. Now, if you go to my Twitter feed, at Adrian Allen, sorry, X, it's now X. If you go to at Adrian Allen, you will see both the video of this scum-sucking pond life driving the car into the people and what happened. But you will also see the video of the police arresting him. Both videos are free to see on my X account, at Adrian Allen. Now, the footage, I will readily admit, is horrific. As Orkidia says, where does this end? Well, listen to some of the data that I've got for you. Obviously, the market was crowded. It was full of people, eagerly anticipating Christmas, which was only days away. They had no time to respond or get out of the way before the car hit them. You'll see it in the video. Unsurprisingly, a lot of people assumed it had to be an Islamist. Well, the truth is a bit stranger if you believe the legacy media. Taleb al-Abdul-Mohsen was a prolific tweeter. It turned out that he is a Saudi atheist, an asylum seeker, and an advocate for refugees. On his Twitter account, X nowadays, he regularly praised critics of Islam, including Geert Wilders, the Alternative for Germany, the party AFD, and Tommy Robinson. That was enough for the media and those who like to pretend they are the sensible ones. You know, the ones who insist after a terror attack that we have to wait to find out. That any Islamist view is only a fringe one. That the real answer is just more immigration. More multiculturalism. More hate crime laws. More diversity. Inevitably, they labelled Taleb far right. This was a radical hater of Islam, someone who beat the right wing with the Interior Minister, Nancy Faeser, of the ruling Social Democratic Party, declaring that the attacker was Islamophobic. But ask yourself a question. If he hated Muslims, why didn't he attack a mosque? Why, instead of going after an Islamic target, did he instead plough his car at high speed into a Christmas market, a place full of glühwein, where no devout Muslim would likely be. Pork would have been freely sold, glühwein would have been freely sold. The answer is obvious. He wasn't targeting Muslims, he was targeting Germans. And the evidence that is still coming out corroborates that. It turns out that Taleb, whatever his prior posts, had recently changed. He'd begun ranting about taking revenge on the German authorities, who he claimed were mistreating Saudi female refugees. His own Twitter X profile includes the sentence, and I quote directly, "Germany chases Saudi asylum seekers inside and outside Germany to destroy their lives." Now, he also had a crude website, largely in Arabic, but it includes in English the sentence, "My advice, do not seek advice in Germany." His pinned tweet said that he will publish evidence that the German authorities committed deliberate crimes against Saudi refugees. He also tweeted that, and again I'm quoting directly, "If Germany wants a war, we will fight it," and asked, quote, "Is there a path to justice in Germany without bombing a German embassy or slaughtering German citizens indiscriminately?" In other words, he appears to have murdered 5 people, injured over 200 more because he hated Germany for, he felt, hurting his fellow countrymen and refugees. In fact, in a video, he can clearly be seen describing himself as a leftist. So when the media say he was a supporter of the Alternative for Germany, AfD, implying this was an attack by the right wing, they are lying. They are lying because they know their whole rotten house of cards is coming down. Increasingly across Europe, people now understand that the very deliberate and extreme policy of mass uncontrolled immigration is making us less safe. Every week seems to bring a new tragedy. Magdeburg is just the latest awful example of how the peace which Europeans took for granted is now being destroyed. In just 2016 alone, the year after Germany pushed open its borders to mass immigration, an asylum seeker from Tunisia drove a truck into a Christmas market in Berlin. He killed 12 and injured 56. 4 days later, he was killed in a shootout with Italian police. An Iraqi boy planted a bomb at a Christmas market in Ludwigshafen, apologies for the pronunciation, which failed to detonate. Undeterred, he planted a second nail bomb near a shopping centre. 3 refugees were arrested for planning a series of suicide bombings and mass shootings in Dusseldorf. They were living in asylum centres where they were caught. A Syrian asylum seeker living in Chemnitz was arrested after plotting to attack an airport with high explosive. He hung himself in his jail cell. An Afghan asylum seeker on a train to Würzburg stabbed 5 people before being shot dead after attacking police with an axe. A Syrian asylum seeker blew himself up outside a bar in Ansbach, injuring 15. So, by 2020, there had been at least 9 terror attacks involving asylum seekers in Germany alone. And that doesn't count the 1,200 women who were sexually assaulted and raped in Cologne in 2015, many of them attacked by refugees, or the endless crimes which fill newspapers across Europe today. This, more than anything, is why ordinary Germans are turning away from the old parties, from the broken establishment, a bit like what's happening in the UK. They instead endorse the AfD to register their firm opposition to this extreme policy of mass, uncontrolled immigration. And no wonder that Elon Musk has implicitly endorsed the AfD. As I say, it's no wonder that so many in Germany's cowardly elite class are furious with him, Elon Musk, for doing so, for daring to challenge the established consensus. Remember what I've been saying to you for 2 years. The political classes are quaking in their boots. Why? Because we're waking up. It's that simple. We can see through what they're doing. Look, these political classes, the establishment, if you wish, they know that we have access to the internet. They know that we have access to truths. Europe's elites have no intention at all of ending their, and I quote, extreme policy of mass immigration and putting the safety and security of their own people before everything else. Just look at this latest atrocity. The Magdeburg attacker, remarkably, was already known to the authorities. In 2013, he was sentenced by a court for making serious threats. At the time, he was living on benefits. Yet despite this, he was allowed to claim asylum and his application was approved in just 4 months. Instead of protecting their fellow Germans from this dangerous man, Germany's elite class let him stay. He paid them back by murdering 5 people, including a 9-year-old child. The problem here isn't just Islamism. The problem is the specific and deliberate policy of the mass immigration of dangerous foreigners into Western societies, many of whom feel no real loyalty to the people who are kind enough to let them live in their safe countries. And it's the elites who choose over and over and over again to put the interests of foreigners and supranational courts over the safety of their fellow national citizens. In the aftermath of this Christmas market massacre, we have simply become too tolerant of people who refuse to tolerate our way of life. And if you will indulge me, I would say that this has to stop. It has to stop now, before more innocent men, women and children are mowed down in their own streets by people who, put simply, hate who we are. Nine-year-old. I think a lot of Europe are very tolerant peoples. Evening, Angela. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. I hope that gave you some food for thought. Nine-year-old. Probably excited for Christmas, excited for presents, excited with her family, excited to be at a German market. Because they have wonderful atmospheres. As I say, the German market in Edinburgh is wonderful. Not very big, but still fabulous. Glühwein, food, lots of Germanic Christmas baubles and presents that you can buy. But this has to stop, man. It has to stop. And yet, I've said this many times, when we go to our leaders and we ask our leaders, please protect us. Please look at what is happening. There is evidently an agenda. Only those that are allowing it know what this agenda is. As Ray Norton says, they leave their own country due to religious oppression, then force that oppression on us. But all of the sovereign nations within that amorphous mass that is the EU cabal, for want of a better word, We're all so very tolerant. All we're asking for is truth. All we're asking for is those that we give our trust to, those that we say lead us. We don't ask for any guarantees, because they use the taxes that you and I pay and they just spend it willy-nilly. So we have asylum seekers, economic migrants, those that are fleeing oppression in their own country. We have Syrian refugees in this country, which can now go back to, now that the Assad dictatorship, for want of a better word, is now gone. Assad's gone to Russia. And what happened today, I've seen lots of different videos, lots of different reporting saying, oh yes, in this market and that market and this city centre and that city centre, we have bollards to stop this very thing. And I thought, legacy media. They're trying to tell us that we are safe in this country because they have put things in place to stop this very thing happening. This is an awful, awful, awful tragedy. As I say, you can see the footage. Please don't watch it if it's either going to give you nightmares or you're of a sensitive nature. Please don't watch it, because it is horrific. But they arrested him. And I couldn't, watching him being arrested by the German authorities, it just didn't look like somebody who would do that kind of thing. But I've not been able to get the people that were murdered in cold blood, in my view. I can't stop thinking about them, and the little 9-year-old. It's like Sarah Sharif, 10 years old. Man. So all of the things that we experience in life, whether they be good or bad, they're all lessons. And yet those that lead us do not allow us to say, not in our name, please. This has to be sorted. Innocent children, mown down, slaughtered. Has to stop. As I've said previously, the little uns and the old uns, we protect them, because that's our community. Over the last 40 or 50 years, if you will, they've literally just chipped and chipped and chipped away at our communities, whether it be the miners and the miners' strike, whether it be the farmers and what's going on now, whether it be the steelworks and then sending the shipbuilding away from the north of this sceptred isle over to China and over into the Far East, just because it would make somebody a few bob. The corruption has to stop. Not kids, please. It's heartbreaking. And I don't really know how to move on from that. I don't think it would be appropriate for me to kind of get all jolly and tell a few gags. But I wanted to remind you of all these atrocities that have gone on. As Rich says, we exported our manufacturing industry. I completely agree. This country has turned into a service industry. And we had skills upon skills upon skills. We were the best shipbuilders in the world. My home city, Sunderland, some of the best ships built in that city. Thatcher sold them to China. The mines and the heavy industry in the northeast of England. I remember when Nissan came in with all the government subsidies, I couldn't believe how much money was being thrown at them just to come and build a huge factory in Sunderland. And I used to play footy. We called it the aerodrome. I didn't live too far from where the Nissan factory is now. And that factory is massive, massive. And it was all football fields where the whole town used to just, a few nights a week, there was all kinds of leagues and all kinds of footy played there. And somebody somewhere sold it all for a lot of money. Des Ashton says, our recent ancestors, some gave all and all gave some, would be spinning in their graves asking why. For feck's sake, why? So we're only a couple of days away from Christmas. And I hope whatever you are doing, whether it be on your own or with family or with friends, you are able to enjoy it in some way, shape or form. I asked the question right at the very beginning, almost, of this live, will you be having a traditional Christmas? And that's all we ever ask, is that we can celebrate with our loved ones or on our own, but we can do it in safety. I can't get this little 9-year-old out of my head. In the field, lovely to hear. I'll be on my own, but happy enough to be so. I will raise a glass to you in the field. Just by being here on the lives is support enough. But I will raise a glass or two or three. As I said, when I was out on Saturday, it wasn't a German market by any stretch, but it was just a brass band. I think somehow we're forgetting who we are. And I don't want to be so crass as to say we are mighty, we're a warrior nation. When it comes to this, and we are one of the most tolerant countries on planet Earth, because we know what it's like to be oppressed. We know what it's like to have a boot on your neck that you know is the government and they're really not going to let you go. We can see through all the subterfuge and the lies. We know what they're doing. We know why it is. One world order. So when you are watching or reading or listening to the legacy media, know that they are lying to you. They are. We could have talked about frippery, but I didn't really want to do that. We could have talked about Trump and the royal family. I will stay serious for a moment because I want to get to 2 hours, because I always want to give you value. But I want you to be aware of this. Now, I don't want you to go out and start buying bog roll, but there is something coming, and it is coming. Seemingly, and it's these descriptive words that are, again, in written legacy mainstream media. They use very emotive terms and words to get you scared, to get you compliant, to get you to do as you are told. Now, all politicians say that food security matters. And I know, I don't know about you, but every Christmas I eat too much. We all say that. And then it's, we're going to get a gym membership in January. And nobody ever keeps it going, because we just indulge a little bit too much at Christmas, because it's almost as if we are like clockwork. Oh, we're hearing all the Christmas songs, so let's go and buy so much food, most of it will go to waste. But the politicians are saying that food security matters, unless, of course, you're taking backhanders from Bill Gates and Larry Fink, Chief Executive Officer of BlackRock. But although the politicians are saying food security matters, no one admits that basically We don't have it. We don't. Look at the lockdowns. When the lockdowns kicked in, you couldn't buy bog roll for love nor money. I mean, we met it head on with humour. But we look back and think, what? And as Garen Davis says, eat Zen bugs. Britain probably has, and I'm being very serious. Terry Wookford says, top survival tip, microwave cooking. Put your pouch food, can be heated up in hot water. Gas camping stoves saves lives. Yeah, I've done a bit of survival stuff. But they are saying that they roughly estimate that Britain has less than a week of food supplies. Now, as I say, I'm not trying to frighten you. I'm just trying to give you context and be aware. Because remember a couple of years ago, Liz Truss, yeah, her, she was telling everybody there was going to be power cuts at Christmas. Did you forget that? It's a script. There's an agenda, there's a script, and she was being told, WEF, again, she's a WEF puppet, yeah, there's going to be power cuts at Christmas. And as Rich very pointedly says, less when the panic buying starts. Even though Bojo the Clown, who was in charge at the time, he had to keep saying to us, don't worry, the food supply is still in place. The supermarkets will still have food. Alan says, can't see them flying in Red Cross parcels for us when the shit hits the fan. I know. No power, no water. They've got us by the short and curlies. And these people don't care. They literally are going to, they're evil. And evil does not care. Adrian, you sometimes have to be harsh. Funky Prepper has some awesome videos. Might as well check them out, or them out, or. But I don't say this to scare you. I say this to prepare you. And all of the things over the last 2 years, we haven't been that far away from stuff. Funky Prepper being arrested. Obviously giving out too much information that they don't want people to have. The only food in the UK is literally what's on the shelves of the supermarkets. There's some in storage, but a week or so. So they reckon the only food in the UK is what's on the shelves of our supermarkets now and what's in their lorries on the way to the shops. I'm not quite sure that's accurate. But when they're irradiating food for it to last longer in our cupboards and in our fridge and freezers than in the supermarkets, who knows? Who knows? I would like to sort of round this off. I don't want you to disappear quickly because I genuinely want to say a heartfelt thank you. This community on a Sunday and a Wednesday night, we can say things because we trust each other. We are of like minds. We're not trying to bring governments down. We're not trying to say that we know all of the answers. We don't even know the questions, let alone the answers. But what we do have is we have trust. Because I'll do my research. I did my research over the German market. Marjorie said, Google hurricane preparedness. It saved my life. I was in Scotland for the I love the Scots because they are funny as. This hurricane appeared in Scotland and sort of went from the west coast through Glasgow, through the sort of central belt, and ended up in Edinburgh. It went across the whole country. It was ripping down scaffolding. It was demolishing houses. It was just a lot of people died, sadly. But the Scottish just called it Hurricane Borbag. They took it with good humour. And that's what we have. And I've said for the last few weeks, please, when the lies are being perpetrated and they're not looking after us, look at them and laugh at them. because they don't like it up them. Laugh at them. If you see them on TV, just laugh at them. You know that he's shitting himself. He's probably got a butt plug up there to make sure that we can't smell it like, oh, Jesus, we got another President Poopy Pants. Kathy, no, they never explained the drones. But I said to you that they weren't aliens. But like in this country, RAF Lakenheath, we Brits went, nah, aliens? Had away and shite, man. It went across to America. All of a sudden, they're running around like headless chickens going, the aliens are invading, the aliens are invading. I don't know about you, but me as a Brit, I was looking at them going, Jesus, they've got no backbone. We had them at RAF Lakenheath and we just laughed. It's the only way to defeat this evil. Laugh in its face. We've done it in wars. We've done it in theatres of wars. We've done it supporting allies. Because they know we Brits have got more backbone than the whole lot of them put together. And these politicians, they're just at it because they can. Yeah, in the field, we've got a Loch Ness Monster, aliens, and nothing compared. Wonderful. Ray Gordon says, I live near Lakenheath and not once did I think, aliens! Maybe we need to have a look at aliens at some point. But it's the last throw of the dice for the elite class. I mean, look, if they can get Jim Carrey to wear a Biden mask, I mean, whether that's true or not is another matter, but get a comedian to play President Poopy Pants, not really say anything. And then remember the phone call to Camel Toe? It was AI. But the Americans, I saw one video of some Yank trying to fire at this alien craft. He was miles away. So if the aliens are going to attack us, they're going to laugh themselves stupid at the daft Yanks going, oh, got my gun, right, come on. Couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo. But we Brits, we'd laugh at them. And you know what? The truth is that all the aliens will land in this country if they ever do. They'll all be Manchester United supporters or all Liverpool supporters. Because there's no such thing as bloody Manchester United supporters and Liverpool supporters in Liverpool or Manchester. I'm being facetious, but you know what I'm saying. Andrew says there's no life in New Jersey. Andrew, I actually printed off what you sent me earlier, so I'm going to record it over the next couple of days because it was absolutely superb. Thank you very much for that. So I would like to say thank you for your continued support of the channel. Yeah, Alan says, why have all these spaceships got their lights on? And do you know there was a friendly fire? Some Yank pilot, I've told you this before, they give them speed before they go on a mission. Adrian, you can't say that. Pretty true. CIA, FBI, everybody knows. And there was some friendly fire over Syria, I think it was. And one of the American planes shot down another American plane. Oh, sorry, trigger happy. They call it friendly fire. My hairy backside. I'll check out Mick West as well. Thank you, Rich. So I want to say thank you for all your likes, your subscriptions. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. I'm not just going to leave you over Christmas and New Year. I still want to get ready for you and do lots of videos and do lots of subjects. We're kind of chopping up these lives to give you little minute or 2 minute clips of what we do, just in case you don't want to go through the whole 2 hours again and just take out and cherry pick the best bits. Thank you for your likes and your subscriptions, but most of all, thank you for your indulgence and thank you for being here for the 2 years that the channel's been live and on air. And we will have more for you tomorrow and Tuesday. But if anything's going to happen, it will be last minute. It will be, I'll just go live for half an hour. But it'll be here for you. I leave all these as documents. Merry Christmas to you. to you and yours. And I mean Merry Christmas, not Merry Holidays, not Merry anything else. If you have a faith that takes you away from what this sceptred isle is experiencing over this week, then I wish you well also, because we are tolerant of all men and women, just not those that are at it and taking the piss. My name's Adrian Allen. This is the Theatre of the Mind, where we are more than just the headlines. Hope you've enjoyed this evening and the interaction. And after the German market horrible event, I thought it was appropriate that I give you some background so that you didn't forget the context when you're hearing the lies out of the legacy media. Go well, be well, enjoy the next couple of days, and there will be more for you on this channel very soon. See you next Sunday, 8 o'clock for the next live. Enjoy Christmas and everything that it entails.